Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Nice way to start the show, isn't it? Almost makes me want to start the show again, because people who tune in afterwards and see me muted think, "Oh no, the show's not working," and then they tune out. Ah well, it's another day of that. Well, I should have had my mic turned up first. Should have checked this. Should have checked it, but I didn't check it. Good morning to all of my friends. Good morning to all of you. Good afternoon, Ben, over there in Asia. Good afternoon to everybody, or good evening, Ben. Good afternoon to. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. Really, really do. Thank you so much. Thank you. Good afternoon to all of the people in the UK and Europe. Thank you so much for tuning in. And good morning to all my friends over there in North America. Reminded as I was yesterday that not everybody from North America is from the States. Of course, there's a whole other country up there called Canada, and there's a lot of Canadians here as well, like Sal from Canada, Electro Boy from Canada as well. So big country, Canada, love it. And I don't want to forget, just when I say Americans, North America has two countries in it. It has United States of America, and it has Canada, and then you've got South America, that's Mexico, and everything below that, right? So thanks to all my American friends, all of you, whether you're from North America, be it United States or Canada, or from South America, be it, you know, Mexico or Brazil. So yeah, that's right. So well done. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. Really do appreciate it. Be sure to hit that like button, even though I don't know geography. And it's really lovely to see you. And good afternoon to Ms. A, for example. Yes, that's right. Yes. So we'll be talking about lots of good stuff today, as we always do on the show. Is 33 minutes after the hour. That is, of course, the easiest way of describing the time in this global audience is what time after the hour it is. If you're over there in New York, it's 33 minutes past 8 in the morning. Oh, good morning. Stretch it out. Stretch it out. Stretch. Oh, stretch it out. Oh, good morning. Tea time with Rocky. No tea, that's fine. Have coffee. I have a cup of coffee right here myself as well, as sponsored by Subway. And here's something for you, right? We're going to start doing some technical analysis. We're going to be looking at financial news. We're going to be looking at all sorts of good stuff. All sorts of good stuff. And it's all to get ourselves in the right mindset, the right mode, the mentality to have the most success that we can. And in order to get there, in order to get to being the most successful, we're going to be successful at everything that we do in life. Everything we do in life. Everything. And we want to get ourselves in the right physical mindset. So with me, why not with me just now, if you can, let's do a couple of squats, right? Then we'll get on with the rest of the show. We'll do a couple of squats, just a couple of squats. Now, I am very, 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 very unfit. Very unfit. I actually, today, I'm so tired today because yesterday I walked around the block 3 times. Okay? That's enough to have wrecked me. I might not look, slovenly and fat or anything, but I'm so unhealthy and so unfit. So how about, just to get in the right mentality, with me, you can do it if you want. This might be the motivation for you. We'll just do a couple of squats real quick, and then we'll get on with the rest of the show. Okay? So all the way down, grass to the ass. No wait, ass to grass. Back up. Right, okay. We'll do, that's 3, 4, we'll do 10, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? Now my form's no good, right? Like you say, form check. All that, no good, right? That is better than nothing. Okay. So I wish you all the very best in your journey towards better health and better financial health and all the rest of it. This is... Look at me in the background doing squats. I can see myself. Well, good on me. I'm very proud of myself. Well done, me. That's what we should do. 46 people watching. Not a massive amount of people watching. I'm knackered. Knackered after that. Whew. Okay, so hopefully that's a bit of inspiration for people who are also incredibly, who have maybe been unwell or whatever. Whew. Right, thanks, boss. That's the most squats I've ever done at 6 a.m. in my life. Homer Simpson. Well done, matey. Well done for doing it with us. Well done. Right, okay. That's it. Work the camera. You want to make a little extra. Whoo. Bollinger Band? The Bollinger Band chart up behind me here. The BB chart. The Blackberry chart. I'm wrecked. See what I mean, right? So if we can try and do this sort of thing, then we'll all get better together, right? Let me be the inspiration for you. Whew. If you think to yourself, gosh, I would like to be able to do all that sort of stuff, but I can't. Maybe seeing somebody else who can't try will help. Okay, right. So we're done. Tim, yeah, exactly. I'm giving it up. But yeah. I've smoked for too long in my life. It's ruined me. But it's not just that. It's a massive combination of things. Health stuff over the years. Right. So this is the Bollinger Band chart, the Blackberry chart. Woof. BB, Blackberry, and we were talking about this recently as to whether or not I would go in and fill in a flash. We saw somebody had said to me, Jen, I think it was Jen Campbell. Shout out to Jen. Thank you so much, Paler Dog. Really trying here. Really trying. And I think as well, it's important for people to know, wrong camera, sorry. As well, it's important for people to know that I genuinely, is this working all right? Yeah. Genuinely don't find any of this easy, okay? So be inspired. Do the same thing if you can yourself. I'll be super impressed, okay? Right, so we'll just try and get on with things here, right? So we're talking about the Bollinger Band chart here, the BB chart. Jen had said that maybe over there on like the 6th of June or something, I'd said something about, or the July or June or July, I'd said something about it returning down to a certain price, and she'd taken a note of it at the time, and because I think I'd told everybody to take a note of it at the time, and I was trying to find out where it was. Now, if it wasn't around about this period of time in August, the 4th of August or so, that flash got filled in after on this time frame. I'm just trying to see where it could have been that I was looking at, because I know there was a flash that we talked about getting filled in. Was it over here? 24-hour time frame, 24th of August, 9:48 flash. Right, yeah, so it must be this one. So so the first target in terms of the DMI thing was on the 4-hour time. Oh wait, no, this is this one. No, we've already done that one. And maybe I was looking at it just slightly wrong, or had zoomed out, Jen, at the time when I said that. I'm not too sure what I said, but anyway, we could still be going on down there, etc. It was interesting just to kind of cover that, see that. Let's just take a quick look and see how GME finished off yesterday. Consolidating in this area, still, you know, in the broader time frame, just or whatever. You can we've not really trended in any real particular direction. The broadening structure here perhaps going to lead into a move up towards, you know, the 222 region. Looking for that. That's what we're trading for. We're here at 204. We closed above 202. I thought you typed out, would it retest 1013? But it could be wrong. I could be wrong. Yeah, man, totally. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I could look back in my old videos and try and find out, but I can't remember. And then I deleted it afterwards, and I regretted deleted it afterwards because I'd, you know, left that note for a reason. But it's gone now, so I can't remember. But I mean, I know that there was definitely a component there where we're looking for it to retrace back down from that flash, and that it did at least a 10% move in favor of our direction that we decided in advance based off of one technical indicator that we've invented here in this community together. So that's pretty neat. So that's that. Oh yeah, Vivenna. Oh yeah, good to see you. Thanks so much to everybody that, by the way, that donated at the start of the show when my mic wasn't working. It's really appreciated. All that stuff. That's always really appreciated. Massively appreciate people who you know support me in my endeavor to live a risk-free life. timer back on. So it's every 10 minutes, I guess, then I actually need to check it and see that it keeps working. So I'll try and remember to do that every 10 minutes. It's just it's an extra little thing to remember for me. I had something to talk about though. Yeah, actually, tell you what, let's just talk about this. Folks, I've got this here, and there's a decided lack of risk management from anybody in the Chitter Chatter. There's only been one person, and there he is right there, in fact, Dead Money All Stars, who has suggested that we do anything with this trade here. And now, I want you to be clear. You're my financial advisors when it comes to this channel account. You're to be my financial advisor. I'm not a financial advisor. I can't give financial advice. Now, random people in the comments section using more or less anonymous names, etc., can indeed give financial advice without any sort of risk or worry about me chasing them down or YouTube or anything coming after you for doing so. What sort of financial advice could you give me with this trade? We're up $30 in profit at the minute, 63% up. We could have closed it out at $7, etc. We could have had take profits in there. We could have had stop losses in there. We've not done it. I've had to manage it myself slightly. I reduced the position size from 73.2 down to 55, just because nobody had said anything. So yeah, right. So thanks for that, Christy. So you can suggest things. Now, the only thing that anybody suggested so far for this thing is Dead Money All Stars. I do believe. Now, if I've got that wrong and it was somebody else, then I apologize. I mean, I did read the comment and all the rest of it, and they suggested that I put in a stop loss at 950. So I'm going to do that just now. But you can discuss it amongst yourself. You know, order will be triggered immediately. What did I do wrong there? 950. Whoops. Okay, yeah, that was a good one. That could have been a laugh, wouldn't it? So 650. Sorry. So you know. You guys can discuss this amongst yourself. This is the channel account for this thing. This is as much your trade as it is my trade. Yes, it's my money that went in to do this. And yes, you know, it would just be me that suffers the loss if you just decide not to manage your risk or take profit ever, and eventually it gets liquidated. But there's a distinct complacency when it comes to this, I've noticed over the last few days. So just think about that. Perhaps let me know. You can see that Dead Money All Stars 650 winky face. Yes, indeed. And Christy was saying it was a 1-day flash that needed filled. Well, that's happened there on Bollinger Bands. God, why did on Blackberry? That's happened on Blackberry with regards to the fill that came in here. Now, we saw this happening, so we would have talked about it at some point after the 21st of August or something, and said that that there was this need to fill this in. The prices went up to 1044, 1114, 1136, 1184. The whole time us saying, well, we can be fairly confident the prices are coming back to 1013 again, and whoomph. There we go. Joke Rocky, I'm the big dumb, don't listen to me, says Homer Simpson. Why would I not listen to you, Homer? Why would I not listen to you, Homer? What were you saying? I'll have to look up above and see if I notice. I don't see it. No. I can listen. Anyway, lots of wonderful people out there. Good to see you, by the way. Mary Sung, greets from Germany. Good to see you. Thanks so much. Please do subscribe and come back for more of these shows. Really do appreciate it. Me S, hello from US of A. Excellent. Do subscribe. Come back for more of these. This is the best morning show you can get. I'm a bit out of puff at the minute if you're just tuning in because we did squats together, 10 squats, just trying to give everybody a little bit of that inspiration to try and be a bit healthier. It's kind of ruined me. It would be nice to be able to do this and over a period of time for that to be nothing, for that to just be nothing, for it to be like, let's just do 10 squats and it won't be a problem. And then afterwards I sit down and I'm not completely out of breath and all the rest of it. That might be inspiring to people to see that. And if you think about how maybe, you know, if your sort of intellectual strength is increasing, or your financial prowess or your technical analysis skills or whatever are increasing in any way similar to my ability to do 10 squats and not be out of breath, then that'd be pretty neat. We've got news that we'll be discussing today as well, and all sorts of good stuff. Checking in with our pal AMC to see how it's doing, and it's a story which is repeating itself over here in terms of coming in and testing off of this wedge. Now, in yesterday's show, we got rid of this "when do you sleep" rule, says Michael Jordan. It's good to see you, man. So over here we've got this wedge, right? And we retested this wedge after we broke out of it towards the top side, came back, retested it, it busted, failed, came back in again. And then we pushed down the way, and what did we do in this period of time? Well, we closed out this gap that was on the charts. We'd had that listed out there. Thank you so much, Janine. I'll get back around to that in a second. So we had this little S dollar sign in here at this gap, and this was something that we were keeping an eye out for. Now that got filled, and the prices have come back up to subsequently retest this wedge again. So after the analysis yesterday, I hit undo about 50 times to come back to this point so that the wedge would be back on there, so that we could look at it again and see. And it's nice to see that that was a worthwhile endeavor. We're still then going to kind of just look at this and say that, you know, towards the top side, taking out 47.77 and, you know, and moving up the way here would be very positive for the prices. And likewise, the moving on up even higher, or indeed moving down past that wick. And we discussed yesterday the kind of the dynamic that could exist between the wedge on the go here and the potential sort of parallel channel that could exist. And now, when a wedge fails, it often becomes a parallel channel. I'm not massively keen on this. I do like the way that it comes here over here, and it's resisted, or, you know, or the prices were resisted by this channel, you know, and that when, if you look back a little bit further, that this price action was somewhat inside of it as well. I do like those aspects about it, but I'm not massively keen on it. I'm really overall just with this kind of real distinct lack of kind of coordination towards the downside when on the downside aspect when positioned like that. You'd have to kind of try and take it so that it's more like this on the downside, and of course more like something like this on the top side, and it's just not ideal. So I'm just going to take that off again. But that was something that we discussed. Now we've also got other stuff. This is quite a lot of discussion about AMC actually. Well, coming up towards 2 o'clock, or you know, 9 a.m. USA time and all that. I guess 3 p.m. Amsterdam time. We'll take a look at the news at the top of the hour and discuss a few different things. But for just now, just kind of giving a little bit of kind of, you know, reintroduction to the charts, get you back into that mindset. Cover over all of, you know, discuss the key talking points from how the price action went yesterday, and put it into a context that you can kind of understand again and build upon yourselves. Hopefully. Now, my technical analysis here is designed to be integrated with your own. It's not designed to overlap, and it's not designed to contradict or to anything like that. It's actually designed to integrate really well with your own technical analysis. So always do feel free to take a look at your own analysis. Now, let's just jump back over to GME for a second here, as I just talk about something that I had an interesting chat with Ben in the comments over the last couple of days. Ben, who's out there at the minute, and good afternoon to you, my friend. Good evening, if you're still, you know, currently able to listen along. And we were talking about Japanese words. Now, I'd asked him because I've been saying to people that the Japanese word doji means mistake. I don't speak Japanese. And I know that a lot of these terms in trading come from the Japanese words, and that in the West we just don't even necessarily translate the word properly, and some of that meaning can be lost in translation. So a doji candle, by the way, for people if they don't know, you've got candles that look like this, like regular candles. You've got a wee wick here, whatever. You've got candles that look like all sorts of things, but sometimes you get a candle that looks sort of like this, you know, all wick with just a little bit of body in the middle. It's sort of like this thing. They're called doji candles, and here's an example of one right here on the chart on GME. That was a doji candle right there. Okay, it's got this little slice of body in the middle with the shadow up above and below of those wicks. Doji in English is what people say it means is indecision. Indecision. And that's not what it means. You know, this is a Japanese word, and it's just written about wrongly. Now, there's a lot of misinterpretations. Famously, American businessmen went to Japan in the 1980s, 90s, well, maybe even earlier than that, and they were analyzing things like teamwork, etc., in Japanese factories to try and improve their abilities back home. because they could see the productivity levels, etc., were so much higher, and they had little ideas like, oh, we'll do this teamwork thing, we'll do this, we'll do that, and trying to build off of the back of Japanese ideas, but always misinterpreting it slightly. And this big discussion kind of happened for over a decade about whether or not foreign business ideas can translate across cultural boundaries or not. And this belief almost came about that things just don't translate. They just don't transport. They just can't. You can't export a working culture. You can't export a productivity mechanism or a staff kind of hierarchy. You can't export these things. It's culturally limited. And of course, that's not true. It's just this classic white man in a foreign country thinks he knows it all when he doesn't really and hasn't really listened to the locals sort of thing. And there's a touch of that same thing with regards to Doji. And I was talking to him because I thought actually that the translation of Doji was mistake. That's what I thought it was, which is got a lot more meaning to it than indecision in terms of what maybe the people who came up with these things and named it in the first place meant. But actually, I was informed by Ben, who lives in Japan, that it means simultaneous. Simultaneous. I spelled that wrong. Simultaneous, and that's also really interesting, so our interpretation of Japanese culture is indecision, and that has these implications for how you think about the markets. The markets are going through a bit of indecision right now, and maybe if you want to apply that to yourself, you can. But also there's this word simultaneous, like the markets have done something that's simultaneous, and I think that's a good way of describing things. If you look at this Doji candle over here, for example, you can see that simultaneously it moved up to test that region up above and down below, all inside the one period. There's a simultaneous aspect to it. Over here, we were moving up, and then we are also kind of moving down. And if there's this upwards and there's downward aspect to this price over here, and that this candle and this candle, they've only done one aspect of it, and then there's etc. Then maybe you could look at things like the indecision candle, as it was called before, as actually being a simultaneous candle where we've managed to do both of the things in the one period. And there's a degree of, as opposed to indecision, which would imply that people don't know what they're doing, there's split consensus where half the people in the room are doing one thing and half the people in the room are doing the other. Very much decisive, however, being decisive simultaneously. Now, I think that that's much more interesting, and it's kind of cool to know, right? So we also have, so that discussion can go even further, because it's not just Doji candle, there's plenty of these sorts of words. And we've got the Ichimoku cloud is another example of Japanese words. So, and as I say, we're coming up towards 9 a.m. USA time. Well done for stretching it out, joining us, having your tea time with Rocky or a cup of coffee. If you've got no tea, that's fine. And as well done to everybody if you did any number of squats, any number at all, just one or two, anything at all. Well done to you. And well done to everybody for getting into the right mindset. I have to say, well done. Fantastic. Oh yes, total quality management. That's right. TQM. And then we develop systems like just in time and all the rest of it from there. Fantastic, thanks so much. Concurrent would also work, says Ben in there. Concurrent, so you get the impression that it's not to do with indecision. If you could translate this word into simultaneous or concurrent, right? Is this not fascinating? I find it fascinating, and I think it's really interesting to know about these cultural nuances. Well, we've also got this indicator over here called the Ichimoku cloud, right? This is what we talk about, the Ichimoku, and this is commonly known as the at-a-glance indicator. And it's really interesting because while it has that part of the name as more or less translated correctly, it could be known as sort of one glance. That part, it's got a full and longer name in Japanese, and it actually translates more along the lines of the one glance equilibrium indicator, where you're looking at market equilibriums. And I think that's an incredibly noticeably missing element from the name. You know, you've got an at a glance indicator, but at a glance of what? Well, areas of market equilibrium. And when you're talking about things, then when people talk about the cloud and they talk about things about the cloud, you talk about, oh, it projects out future areas of support and resistance. And again, these sorts of descriptions remind me of a group of 5 business executives from General Motors in 1980 going over to visit a Nissan factory in Japan and coming back with completely the wrong ideas, because all they are is fat burger eating Americans with no idea of what nimble Japanese business culture really is like, and they then kind of fat finger the business tech when they get home and misunderstand things, and it takes another few decades before anybody else is able to figure out, well, hold on a second, maybe using these sort of these small group of executives from Japan, America's interpretation of Japan, we should just go there ourselves and ask them and see what they actually say and learn a little bit ourselves. You know, for instance, one of these aspects of business culture was teamwork that I spoke about already. And one of the parts of it was that people in Japan would actually complain sometimes about how they were working in teams, because it created an environment where perhaps where, you know, somebody might dob on you if you weren't doing it, and it creates this little competitive niche thing. And while it's okay and it creates productivity and it might get them through the day a bit quicker, and it's maybe better in many ways than just sitting in a stale and stagnant environment, that it isn't necessarily, you know, all of the wonderful ideas that the Americans came back with, having been told this. And you can imagine being walked around a Japanese factory by a Japanese factory manager saying, yes, so they work in teams over here, and it creates brilliant synergies, because of course when one member of the team knows something better, they're able to tell another team member, and it really improves productivity because everybody shares knowledge. When in actual fact, Koki over there is scared of being dobbed in by Shunzu for having you know, turned up 15 minutes late today, you know, or whatever, and that's that sort of thing. So you don't necessarily know. Anyway, the equal, and I'm even now myself, I'm making gross errors in my cultural nuances, and when I'm talking about it, and you might have noticed I subtly put in a sort of little sort of kind of like, you know, I did that in my language on purpose as well. I was doing this just to show you how easy it is to make these mistakes. Well, anyway, this incredibly famous Japanese indicator, which has existed for since maybe like the 80s or 60s or something. This is one of the ones which is possible to write out on paper. I've talked about this before. I mean, it uses simple moving averages to calculate things as opposed to exponential, that sort of a thing, make it a little bit easier to see, to actually draw it out by hand on paper. And this is talking about potential zones where the market may be in equilibrium, as opposed to necessarily zones of support and resistance. And I think it's actually fine to think about these things in terms of support and resistance zones, but it's interesting and dynamic when you think about the equilibrium aspect, especially, for instance, when you look here in the GameStop 4-hour chart at how the price has moved through this region of the cloud, not experiencing necessarily much in terms of the support or resistance, really. I mean, of course, there was a little inflection at the start of the cloud and a little inflection at the end of the cloud as well here, just as we were coming out. But really, it kind of shows you that the market was striking through an area of equilibrium there and moving back into another zone of it. And that's that's, I think, insightful, and it comes partly by having a respect for the language and for the cultural differences there, and inquiring minds find these things out. Anyway, I'll forever call them itchy monkey clouds. At this point, I don't even care that it never caught on. I'm still proud of it. Yeah, absolutely, Jiu-Jitsu guy. Do it. Call them itchy monkey clouds. I call them the itchy and scratchy cloud, and I say the itchy and scratchy cloud when I put it on the charts, but there you go. 2 p.m. UK time, top of the hour, top of the morning to you. If you're over there in the North Americas, well done to all my Canadian friends for tuning in. Hope you're having a fantastic Canadian morning. Well done to all my United Statian friends for tuning in. Hope you're having a fantastic United Statian morning. Well done to all my Mexican friends for tuning in. I hope you're having a fantastic Mexican morning as well. And that is, of course, the continent of North America. See, I do know one or two things. I know that Mexico's in the north. I was just kidding earlier on. And we're going to take a look at the news. Thanks so much for tuning in. Do remember, hitting like is appreciated. By whom? Well, primarily by future viewers of the channel who will be showing the channel more likely by YouTube because the audience that's here actually appreciates the content. How much is it appreciated by me? Well, very, very much. But the direct conversations I have with individual people remind me on a daily basis that I'm doing good work over here. And I don't really, the difference between 500 likes and 1,000 likes is going to make very little difference compared to one message or two messages from an individual who says, thanks so much. I had a few of them yesterday, for example. So it's not about me or my ego. It's definitely about the people who haven't found the channel yet. So do that. And as well, if you're watching along now, drop a comment down below. When the video ends, come back, leave one. Could be anything. It could just be saying Rocky, Rocket, Rocky, Rocket, 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 Rock. Right. And let's take a look at some news. Now, there's a thing that we've been doing here on the channel for a while we look at news. Come back to this here in a minute. Come back to this here in a minute. It's the ever evolving nonsense headline of why stock markets moved one day to the next. This is the news from yesterday that I actually properly forgot at some points. I mean, I didn't have the time at the top of the hour to do it. I forgot, came back around again to try and do it, kind of forgot again. So yesterday's show didn't have a news section, forgot about it. Here, what we would have discussed would have been the nonsense headline, stock market news live updates. Stock futures edge up despite China growth concerns. Oh, futures edge up despite China growth concerns. Well, this isn't so much a reason why they're edging up. It's kind of a thing that, had they gone down, they would have said stock futures edge down because of China growth concerns. That's what they would have said. They were like, we really need a headline. We really need a headline. We need something. We need to understand this. We need to, give people reasons. It's constantly it. It'll change every day. If you take if you mindfully read the news every day and just think about it, be mindful, be present as you're reading the news. Don't just, think that you're getting some value out of it as you let something invade your system. Try and absorb what you want from it. And we can see here that then when we look over here, what's it say? Stock futures fall ahead of retail sales data. Oh, right. So that's why stock futures have fallen. It's the retail sales data. How much faith do you really put in it at this stage? We can keep doing this. We can keep doing this all year round. So far, we've had loads and loads of reasons for shit happening, which just almost schizophrenically changes from one reason to another, really depending on who it is writing the article and what mood they're in, more than any substantive facts. That's a big part of the news. It's a big part of understanding the news. It's something that I think is a worthwhile lesson to kind of deliver. Anyway, over here, there's some interesting things. I mean, I saw this iPhone 13 inflation indicator and the issue we don't talk about, and I was extremely interested in that. There's also this headline here, SEC whistleblower, $110 million payout and second biggest payout ever. So there was news released recently, for example, about ETFs, and a guy with a funny sounding name talking about ETFs and how they're basically designed, and he's a whistleblower and yada yada yada. I don't know how much money he got paid for doing that. I don't even know if he did get paid. I don't even know if he necessarily is, strictly speaking, is a whistleblower, because the information he was talking about was kind of obvious in my opinion. And everybody kind of knew it already. I'm not too sure, but anyway, maybe not, maybe not. And it's interesting, so I wonder if he got any money for it. And there's this kind of, massive payday thing that people like to go for, and why not? $110 million. That's something that's worth opening your mouth for. Now, America loves a whistleblower on some instances, hates a whistleblower for other instances. We know the whistleblower, it depends. Like Snowden, he's a traitor to the American people. That's right. America wants to get the guy Snowden and put him in jail for his life, because he told the American people that the American government was breaking the American Constitution by spying on the American people themselves. And that makes him a criminal, and he should be in jail, as you all perfectly understand over there. So not all whistleblowing is like $110 million payouts, but this one is cool. And it's about it's a tipster whose information resulted in enforcement actions, and that's a big part of this whole thing. You know, it's like you want to actually be able to enforce some enforce some action against them. The tipsters award was the second largest ever, includes 40 million from the SEC and 70 million dollars from a related action brought by another agency, according to the statement Wednesday. So it's not just a fee for whistleblowing; it's kind of like a commission that you get from the payout later on after some court stuff. So that's interesting. The SEC whistleblower program, tipsters can be paid for information that prompts sanctions by another agency. So that's what's going on over there, and it's pretty good, that interagency cooperation with regards to that, and it's the American way as well, paying out so much money for it. Fantastic. I love it. I love that, because in this country it's more like you just do some whistleblowing and it's kind of like you get a visit from the compliance team because you broke laws and stuff like that. I certainly know that I was never awarded with any whistleblowing whenever I did any at my whenever I worked in the banks, and I knew that for over 18 months they'd been lying about their risk tolerance and actually not performing mandatory legal checks that they had to do, and that whenever I told anybody about it, what they did was they blamed me for it having happened, even though it started 18 months before I actually got into or a year before I actually got into the job. So there you go. You know, not all whistleblowing is rewarded. Some of it you just get shat on by people. And the compliance team, of course, had big issues with me. I mean, how did I get my name? How did it be my fault? The compliance team really wanted to investigate this. How come I was able to, before I even worked at the job, go in and make these things, do this illegal stuff, before I'd ever worked there, and then put some other employee's name on there who did work there at the time, who didn't do it? How was I able to do that? And what process had I gone through by going back in time, getting the things and sending them to Iron Mountain with somebody else's signature on it? Because really they had to get to the bottom of this. That's kind of how compliance and whistleblowing and all the rest of it normally goes. Witch hunts against the person who opens their mouth. That's what normally happens. Anyway, today's announcement underscores an important role that whistleblowers play in helping the SEC investigate and prosecute potential violations of securities law. It's not going into great details here about what actually happened. But anyway, there's a lot of interesting stuff to be had for these guys. I don't really know. I suppose we should really look at it. The biggest award ever, by the way, was 114 million. So it's only a couple of percent away from that. They did a good job there. This is the iPhone 13 inflation indicator and the issues we don't talk about enough. So this is about the hardware isn't getting any pricier, but you can eat an iPad. What does that mean? Amid much fanfare, the latest iPhone iteration arrived this week. I'll just get that, open that up in a new tab because I'm interested to see what the thing looks like. With more than a few grumbles about Apple's lack of product innovation, but at least one aspect gave consumers a reason to celebrate. Somebody observed that Steve Jobs opted to keep prices at iPhone 12 levels. The house that Steve Jobs built opted to keep prices at iPhone 12 levels, effectively making the iPhone inflation-proof. That's really weird. Is this like a paid-for article? This is bullshit. iPhone 13's relative pricing reminds us that until COVID-19 descended upon the world, technological advances played a huge role in boosting productivity and taming inflation. It's totally true, and this is what I was talking about yesterday, taming inflation as well, that I talked about this, that the UK inflation rates have been a bunch of lies, essentially, the way it's worked. It's been huge inflation at times. And this article's a load of shit because we know that the iPhone 11 came out when they bumped their prices up to $1,000 for a handset, and that was so bad that their sales dropped by about 25% or something like that. It was really awful. So then the next iteration came around, they kept prices the same. Sales didn't go back up quite enough, so they've kept them the same this time around. Now they're getting credit for it. They may even sell even more than they would have before, and that's complete bullshit. Well done, Apple. Apple is relying on iPhone 13's new camera to power record sales. Oh, wow. Really? Oh, great. There's the phone there. Still got a big old ugly notch in it. Here's another type of phone that you can get. Look, there you go. Look, zero notch, zero. There's no notch. There's nothing. Completely 100% screen. Come on, Apple. Come on, Apple. Come on. Right. Team Transitory shouldn't breathe a sigh of relief over inflation just yet. Right, there you go. So chill your pants. And what else did we have here? Oh, that's that headline about stuff being confusing. Microsoft, why? This was news from yesterday I want to talk about as well. Microsoft hikes dividend and unveils 60 billion stock buyback program. Well done, Microsoft, getting ready for, of course, the natural decline in tech interest by increasing their the sort of the fundamental in inverted commas value of their stock. Right, we're back inside the charts. Let's take a look at these. See if they make us fart. Wilfric Doomslayer, they do TA. Are we counting drawing a support level and counting peaks TA? Wolfie boy, I think we probably, yes, you're right, but we probably ought to, given that that's what everybody seems to think it is. Yep, we're also supposed to, you know, Jim Cramer is also a human being that exists in the world and is spoken to and listened to and stuff like that. I mean, this is the world we live in, so I guess we'll call it TA, right? Lol, you're such a hater. It is all screen. No, it isn't all screen. That iPhone, it's got a big old black bit at the top, which is not screen. It's bullshit. You'll notice it's where the camera and stuff is. This isn't necessarily the best way, but you know, just to do things. But like, you can get a fingerprint reader that's built into the screen. I don't know, does Apple have that yet? You can do stuff like this if you want to have a selfie camera, for example. Whoop! Did you see that? Did you see it? Oh, I've got no camera here. I'm looking at myself. I just pop that out. Oh, look at that. There's a camera there popping up at the top of the screen. Whatever. Bit of fun, you know, bit of fun, 5G, all that crap. So anyway, hydrate, replenish those muscles so they can build. Replenish those muscles. Katie, you flatter me. Those muscles. Right, yeah, you flatter me. Right, sound. Morning, afternoon, all. Morning, Brian. Doggo needs a walko. Be back soon. Have a good walk, Jiu-Jitsu guy. Enjoy it. Right, sound. Brilliant. So here we are. What did we talk about here? It's 12 minutes past 2 UK time. Good afternoon, Europe. It is, of course, coming up to 9:15 in the morning for East Coast Americans. I think Chicago time. What's that? Coming up to 8:15 in the morning. Is that right? And what time is it over there in Pacific Coast? Coming up to 6:15 in the morning. Is that right? Hope you're all doing very, very, very well and enjoying the day so far. Thanks for joining me. So we decided that what we would do throughout this week is to try and make things a little bit harder for everybody. And I've been doing this progressively. It's now, wait, just double check. Yeah, it's now Thursday. Woo. And we're going to just make this even harder again. So the volume down below, I'd left that so it was still visible for people who wanted to tell what type of candle it was that we were looking at. Now I'm going to just make these the same color. Make them that color, and yep, they're the same color. Now there may be a tiny shade difference. I don't think so. Yeah, same color here now. So now you can no longer tell what color the candles are at all. And this way that we talked about this at the start of the week was that if you were to, you know, want to increase your peripheral vision, you could get a blindfold and put two wee pins in it. Pinholes here, and then when you're trying to you'd be basically blinded apart from two tiny wee pinholes, and then when you took this off you'd have peripheral vision again. Now, I actually don't have any pinholes in that thing, so I was just completely blinded by it, but you get the idea, and that's kind of what we're doing over here, trying to make it so that you're more familiar. And I know it's almost shocking, it's almost a culturally bodily shock when I bring up candles that have got colors on them now after having spent the last week looking at this thing. So we'll keep that going for the next wee while. Let's take a little tour around some different stocks that we were looking at. Let's see how EVGO got on, if it ever turned around. I'm not too sure if it did. It still kept going down, so we're still keeping an eye out on this one. We want to try and buy into this when it's in a position of strength. You know, naturally, pre-market price is down another 5 cents. I do think this one's got a good chance of turning around. We're looking to see if we can avoid having, avoid losing all of the bullish divergence that's on here, for example. There's a chance, and we discussed this already, that we come in here and try again at the lower end of the wedge. This wedge, which is just symbolically drawn in as opposed to necessarily looking at exactly where the feckin' prices would be at. But if, you know, specifically, not trying to be too detailed about this thing, but you'd be looking down to about 720, I guess, right? So we really do want to see this turn around sooner rather than later. Not actually go down to that 720 area, of course, but here we are. This is a 4-hour time frame, by the way. Suppose you might not even want all those drawings on there when you've got all these different indicators, etc. Just do this the at a glance way today. Take things a little bit easier. So as you can see, even now we're obviously below the previous low, and that we have this the baseline is up above us. You know, we'd need to be taking out that baseline. That baseline representing 50%, the 50% area between the high of the last 26 periods and the low of the last 26 periods. It's essentially the same calculation as behind the Donchian channels, but using the 26 period look back for that baseline. We're going to be hoping for things like that. We get to see a turnaround here on the DMI without losing the divergence. Now, just in here, you can see that actually, you know, looks like we kind of have, not from the 2nd of August, but this in between one. If we do need to see a turnaround at 40, that's what we need to see. That's all right. You can see here again, still so distinct that at any time, if we were to turn around, they'd have that, but it's not happened yet. So curious about that, but we'll keep an eye out for it. You know, keep an eye out for it. It's one that's going to be potentially pretty good. We've got targets up above. One of the targets is in and around about this gap fill, I do believe. Or has that already happened? That gap fill did happen. There was something else I was looking at on this one for a reason. I don't know. Anyway, there's another one that we looked at recently, IPGP, IPG Photonics. Who are they? What do they do? Nobody knows. We leave fundamentals and all that crap for somebody else to look at. There is really very little point in looking at fundamentals. If you want to know about it, you can look at this video here. This is a billionaire mathematician who talks about the prices of stocks. He explains here for a split second the efficient market theory. It's called, or is it called the efficient market hypothesis? Can't remember the name of it, to be perfectly honest. If it's theory or hypothesis or what. I mean, basically those words are interchangeable in that sense. So yeah, and it's just not true. You know, it's that there actually is a way of there are anomalies in the idea of the efficient market hypothesis, and that all information that could be known about the markets is baked into the charts. Well, it is, but not necessarily baked into the price itself. If you think about the price as being a static thing, this is something I've tried explaining a few times, and people don't seem to get it, right? Price isn't the price that it is right now in any given second. That's not really the price, because by, you know, a second after that, the price is different. It's not the price. The price of something is really what you're willing to pay for it. That's what the price of something actually is, and that's an old estate agents thing. Shout out to Dad for that one. You know, what is the price of a house? Well, it's simple. It's the price anybody's willing to pay for it. Looking at the wrong camera. So yeah, so that's one of the things about it, and really, what is somebody willing to pay for something is a dynamic that exists across the you know, the price history, and actually the price is always correct because it's always a reflection of the price versus the price history, and that evolves constantly. People think, including the person that wrote the theory himself, that the price is a static thing at the time, and that price is correct right there and then, and that there can't be any more information, so therefore nothing is predictive at all in any way. And you can't use probability theory, which is obviously patently not true. We demonstrate that every single day in extreme detail, to the point that it's proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. There's zero, and if, by the way, if you're here watching right now and you have any doubt, please fuck off. Because I've proven it so solidly that I don't know what you're doing here. That, you know, that's just beyond a shadow of a doubt. Anyway, you've got this guy chatting. Now, I would like to be able to hear this myself, but my speakers aren't working. So I'll just see if it's working for you.
For one thing, commodities especially used to trend. Not dramatically trend, but trend. So if you could get the trend right, you'd bet on the trend, and you'd make money more often than you wouldn't, whether it was going down or going up. That was an anomaly in the data, but gradually we found more and more anomalies. None of them is so overwhelming that you're going to clean up on a particular anomaly. Because
fuck's sake. Fuck's sake. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Right. Anyhow, I would beg to differ. We've got this indicator. Like I say, you kind of, I think you probably got the impression what I was talking about there with that one, even though the mic was off. Will I ever learn? I mean, I will learn. Of course I'll learn. I should have been using this thing and everything for it that I've got specifically for it. It just takes a while to get better at this. Rocky, please don't be sad. Oh, what did you say here? Please don't be sad, but we can't hear you. You can hear me now. Oh, I was sad. Oh, Sarah Steiner, that's so nice of you. No, there is sound. I'm getting a call from Jamie. There is sound. There is sound. Hi, Jamie. The mic's not off right now. I know. Yeah. I'm not too... Cool. Bye-bye. Jimmy chatting there. Very, very nice guy. Lovely guy. He thinks that him talking to me right now would enhance the show in some way or another, but it wouldn't. Right. Okay, great. Yes. So I'm just going to scroll back up and see that message that came in from Janine, in fact, earlier on, because she was putting in putting in a wee bit of chat here to be nice, and I just want to see what it was. Thank you for doing squats with us, Rocky. No other YouTuber cares about his audience like you do. You're a legend, buddy. Thanks so much for that, Janine. That was really, really kind of you. Sarah Steino, okay, we can hear you now. Yes, of course you can. Of course you can. It's the delay on there. Enough time to, of course, even receive a phone call and chat about it. Thanks so much, TradeSpot. Really do appreciate you giving me a call there to tell me that. Yes, I do need to have my things up. Yes, I saw it happening. Because my chats were up, I saw it happen in TradeSpot, and that's why I was able to fix it. But of course, there's a buffer and a delay that comes out, so it's enough time for you to call me, and then we chat about it. And meanwhile, my microphone's back on because I do have the chat up and all that sort of stuff. So advice appreciated to an extent. Right, so yeah, so that's what we're looking at. Right, cool. 23 minutes past the hour. Let's maybe just go off to crypto land for a while. Let's go to crypto land. Now, I haven't done any TA on Bitcoin on the show. Whoops, typed that in wrong. BTCUSDT. In fact, no, wait, no. CAKEUSDT, because that was something that people had asked me to take a look at. I'm not too sure if I did or not. Here we have it. Don't know if it was this what I was looking at yesterday. Kind of suspect that it wasn't, in fact. Ichimoku Cloud making this rather easy just off the bat in terms of understanding where the prices are. This is a rather beautiful indicator in that sense, of course. If this doesn't have any sort of, if you're not seeing what it's showing you right here, let me try and make that a little bit more clear to you. The prices were moving up. They came up towards an area of resistance, and then they went back down. And where did they find that they were being supported? At an area of identified equilibrium on the charts right here. So that's quite clear. It is called the at-a-glance indicator. So most human beings out there should be able to use their pattern recognition skills on this one to understand what they're looking at. Maybe you can't so clearly because of colors, etc. All the colors here may be a bit subdued. How about I make these less subdued? I'll make this a big old purple line. I don't know if that makes it better or not. I'll make this next one the green colored line. No, the conversion line should be green. Sorry, make the green that one. And make this one purple. I don't know. Does that make it better? I don't know. Those two lines, you can see there's a cross there, so that's negative, and that's one of the signals on this thing. And then you've got the cloud. Now the background maybe not so great. Maybe make this a bit bigger, like a bit brighter. There we go. You should be able to see that working for you there, and you should be able to see here. So that's maybe makes it a little bit clearer. Okay, dokie. And we came down here and we got in and we were supported in it around about that area. Wow, is it magic? Not really. Also, when you look here, it's really not magic. What it does is it takes prior price action and it projects it into the future to identify these zones. Now, like I said, right? The efficient market hypothesis thinks that the price is right now in this thing, and there's nothing that you could see on any historical data or any future stuff at all anywhere on a chart that may give you any insights into the market. Obviously, complete and absolute tosh. However, that's not really the full market efficient market hypothesis. Really, not really. That would be if it was working at 100% efficiency, which is impossible because nothing in the world in the known universe works at 100% efficiency, apart from perhaps with the exception of gravity. But we don't know what gravity is. So, get back to me when we figured that one out. So anyway, yeah. We can tell that stuff's happening. And when you take previous price action, you stick it into the future, then you can kind of get this impression. And this is why these things are popular amongst analysts. Anyway, that was one of the ones that we're looking at. CAKEUSDT, then where is it and how are we doing here? And let's just do some TA on this thing instead of chatting so much about stuff. Oh, and thanks for joining me. If you're just joining me just now, we're going to be going back to the regular markets within the next 3 minutes to see them opening up and getting all hyped and all that crap about what's happening in the here and now. But for just now, what we're going to do is some TA on Cake for the next couple of minutes. There's always time to do TA, so it's always recommended. Even if markets are open up, there's still time to do it. We can see that we took out the 236 as we moved down here. Actually came in for a nice 382 Fibonacci retracement as well. So you got the Fibonacci and the Ichimoku cloud giving you a clear idea of where the prices could be heading after we did a few things. Like if you were playing this off the back of the cross on the conversion here in the Ichimoku cloud, you would have been looking down towards this region. So the price is in and around about 22.30. You would have been looking down to about $19. You could have obviously got a move as far as 18, and now we're back up above the 236. Now we're hoping to see the base and the conversion line cross again. We get a cross of the base and conversion line while above the cloud. What are the implications for it? Well, the implications are clear. There are implications for trend. Over here, you moved up. You're now then above the cloud. We're above this cloud and we're above this cloud. And that's the start. And we had this cross over here, and that happened below the cloud. This is the cloud here. This is the cross here. This is below that. That was below the cloud. Now, if there's a cross here, it'll be above the cloud, which means that we must have, in order to be in a position where you could get a cross like this above the cloud, certain conditions have to have happened. For example, you'd need to have moved past the cloud. Then, of course, you'd also have had a correction to the point at which there was a negative cross, because on the way up here, there'd obviously be positive, right? So then at this point, once you've experienced your correction, if you were to move back up again, then what it means is that you started a trend. And that's why whenever you get the cross here and the thing, they're moving up. That's what the rules of this thing are trying to tell you to look for when they're saying to trade it. Now, of course, you often see this thing working, really badly in that sense, where you don't necessarily get crosses above the line that you're necessarily looking for to get trades off the back of. But here in the 50-minute time frame, you can see that maybe that was one, maybe that was one. That obviously carrying you the whole way up. Now, if you're looking to get out when it crosses negatively, it would go in here. You're looking to say, well, maybe you get a bounce at this point where you can go up higher. And then, of course, you can look at the charts, the oscillators down below. You can see that this is bearishly divergent at this point whenever this is all going on. And then you can see that this is happening. So you've got that upward movement, you've got that bearish divergence, you've got us going in the cloud. So that's that. I mean, look, okay, that's kind of teaching you. It's doing the TA right now slightly to teach you how to do TA using this tool. That's what that was. So just real quick then, we're still moving up towards the top side. Now we've come in here, we've come down low enough, and we can see that what we've done here, and I explained the RSI in great detail yesterday, so I shouldn't need to explain what this means here to anybody, but we've done this 3 times right here, and also we've done this a few times right here. So what would we be looking for? What would we be looking for? I'm just going to leave this with you actually for you to figure out, but what would we be looking for, and what is the distinction of these zones? You can know, you should know, you watched yesterday's episode. I'll make a clip of that, so if you don't don't understand what it is I'm talking about now, you should know. Here we have the DMI 15-minute time frame, potential for it to go positive. If we do that, then what we need to see is what you should be expecting and hoping to see in here, if you know what we watched yesterday, we talked about yesterday, and then there you have it. In fact, that's what we'll do. We're moving back over to markets because they're opening up as we speak. Over here, opening prices on GME, $203. That's pretty good. No real gap chat for us to be particularly anxious about. Zooming on in to get a better look at the charts here and establish where we are with regards to, you know, the kind of almost inevitable tiny gap that you get between one day and the next. And you can see that that is, of course, filled in already first few seconds of the day. So that's done. AMC, likewise, also starting off today without any gaps. Where are we right now in terms of the cloud? Well, we've talked about this a good deal already today, so this should be starting to have that impression for you. That this cloud is giving us this resistance on the way up towards what? Well, of course, that next zone that we're looking to as well. So this is, of course, what we are currently analyzing. Will we manage to stay above the baseline? If we do not do that, then, of course, we'll be anticipating a negative cross. Where would that negative cross be happening at? That negative cross would be happening under the cloud, of course, which would indicate what? Well, it would indicate, first off, that we've moved down under the cloud, that we've had a correction, which is, of course, crossed us one direction or the other. And then if we continued on the way, it would be a continuation of a trend. Okay, so now we understand something. Now we understand something which is not being explained properly. If you just look up the rules about the thing, now you can understand what those rules are actually trying to tell you a little bit better. So that's what we're experiencing right now. This would, of course, would have been the ideal place to go through. If you think about this in terms of equilibrium, and that, then often, of course, obviously, the ideal place to attack a cloud would be through the narrowest point. Here we have it happening here at one of the narrowest points. Here we have the cloud attempting to go through one of the narrower points over there. In this movement up the way, well, you know, that was slightly narrower, but it's not exactly like the ideal examples of this thing all the time. But it's just, you know, just something to look to as a visual indicator of where we are. So that would have been ideal. Didn't happen, of course. Been rejected so far. Can we stay above this point? Is there any confluence? Actually, there happens to be confluence in here at 45.84 with what, the 50% Fibonacci line. So, you know, taking out these two things on the smaller term time frame would indicate to us, you know, that there's an increased chance of us coming down to try and test out that gap down below. Jumping back over to GME to see again exactly where it stands with regards to its cloud. The 50-minute time frame still up here for us. Looking at this, you can see lower high so far up above this line. The actual baseline itself not yet above the cloud. What's missing through all of this analysis, though, you'll be wondering? That's right, it's the lagging span. The lagging span doesn't get much of a look in, really, because, of course, it is kind of shit. But I'll put this on here and I'll make it this kind of bright blue color so we can see it. Lagging span above the cloud. Good to see. Over here, AMC, lagging span below the cloud, right? That's just something that's worth seeing. Now, we know this would be the case. It's so obvious. It's just so obvious. Then the lagging span, what is the lagging span? It's a line. It's a line chart of the current prices chucked back the way. That's all it is. It's all that is. And what does this mean? Well, it means obviously if the lagging span is above here, that it coincides with all those different factors. So if you had if you were looking at the baseline and then the conversion line and then the cloud itself and then the prices then moving on up and coming back down for a correction, so that you get another cross, and then moving on up the way and getting another cross. Then this here time, you're going to have the best signal, because by this stage, what's going to have happened? Your lagging line will be above the cloud as well. So that's the final and complete part of the kind of beginner to intermediary use of the Ichimoku cloud explained throughout the show here today so far, and that's the lagging span there. But I'm going to just hide it again because it distracts the shit out of the charts, and for very, very little value, of course, right? So that's it. So if you do have it on your charts, then and you were looking to use it, then what you could do, of course, is make it so that it's nearly invisible. And that's a good idea, and that's what I would do. But while I broadcast on YouTube and making this thing nearly invisible, all it does is distract my eye, and you can't even tell what I'm talking about. So I'd have to have it visible like that, That's too much. So for me and my use case as a YouTube, analyst here, there's very little utility in me having that on. But you can have it on your own charts. I'm not going to say that you shouldn't because it's there. It has its own utility. It makes it an at-a-glance indicator looking for those equilibrium moves in the market. Equilibrium is a word which is underused and actually very, 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 very accurately descriptive of markets. Somebody who, of course, used the word equilibrium a lot before anybody else really did with regards to markets was J. Wills Wilder Jr. It's currently 5 minutes after. We've just had our first 5-minute candle of the day. That's all we've had on the 5-minute time frame. This is dragging us back into the cloud here. And what can I say? Until such times as we're up above our targets, which will actually be pivots in the market, we're actually just in here inflecting, if you like, until such times as anything has changed. Let's check in on some of the other stocks, let's just check in with the chats. 5 minutes after the charts have opened, let's check in with the chat. Let's check in with the chat. Woo! Sarah said, Catface said TradeSpawn. I wonder what that was about. Scroll up a little bit and see. Very well, that explains it. Oh, wait a minute. Who's talking about Derry? Going up to B4JoM. B4JoM. Just reading through the chat here. B4JoM. Gravity doesn't exist as a force. We're just experiencing acceleration at a rate of 9.807 meters per second squared. That's totally true, man. That's totally true. That's why, of course, Australians are dragging the Earth with them because, of course, they're the ones accelerating and they're pulling Earth with them because gravity doesn't exist. Good point. Thanks so much for that one. Very, very well made. Of course, debatable. Einstein's special relativity argued that space and time are inextricably connected, but that theory didn't acknowledge the existence of gravity. A man falling is the same as zero gravity equals no gravity. That would be called parity between the two moving objects, but actually there's a force of gravity out there and it would interact between the two of them. So if you set out two objects falling in space at the same speed, within enough, close enough so that their gravity would interact with each other over a period of time, those two objects would then conjoin, they would converge together and then begin to orbit each other. And that's what gravity is, mate, not the relative difference in speed. But love your contributions to the conversation, of course, very, very, very much appreciated. I don't know if it necessarily advanced anything, but of course, conversation helps. Right, TraceOne, so he doesn't actually know anything about trading stocks. Who's that? Einstein? Remember to hit like. YouTube needs to hit like. It helps YouTube, the algo. Thanks, Stream Elements, popping in there. Appreciated. Jiu-Jitsu guy, correct. Right, cool. Creative babes. Everyone keep him talking for 3 minutes, please. BRB for pee break. Lol. Katie, chill out. I'll just keep chatting here for 3 minutes. Go pee. Captain Sinkalot. His streaming day trading behind a paywall? I think I never looked into it. I have no idea what you're talking about, mate. Certainly not me. If you're talking about other YouTubers, stop talking about other YouTubers now, or I ban people. That's a rule here, by the way. People who come in here and talk about other YouTubers get banned. Other YouTubers that come along who I'm not a fan of get banned. Speaking of equilibrium, Lagrange points are pretty cool. Totally, they are. Brian Mullen, the equity position he received when Penn bought Barstool gives him all the ammo he needs. Interesting. Don't really follow along with that. That's pretty cool. AHT getting so close to my big buy order. Let me guess. Coming in for a flash. Phil, what is your buy order? Maybe at 1450, maybe 1448. What? Bring up the charts, look over here, put on a vertical line. Let's just go through this process. That's the 5-minute chart. We don't need that one on, but let's just do it in the 5-minute chart. Doesn't really matter. We're happy with flashes, but no, that's been done already. So we'll do it on the 4-hour chart. What? Rocky Outcrop has invented the single greatest indicator ever known to man, ever, and he's done it for free on his channel, and he's not put it behind a paywall, and he's the best human being in the world, and actually a really nice guy to boot, and cares about people, and all that, and he's done all of that for nothing. What's this Rocky Outcrop guy all about? Where is this bloody flash at though? Where is it? Was it here? Is it here? Is this what I'm looking at? Just trying to figure it out. I'm pretty sure we had one. I marked it in. It doesn't even need to. We've marked it in. I've already marked it in, so it's fine. This purple line here, this is, or was it? I don't know. Somewhere in about here, right? Is that what we're looking to? Look, somebody out there will already know. Christy probably knows, and if not Christy, Bad Mama Jamma knows, and if not them, then somebody who's just been paying attention to me as I've been talking recently knows that we had a target of 1450. Where's the price has been as low as today? 1440. We actually had a target of 1448 or whatever. It's been target 1450, right to 1450, right there. So I wonder if that's where it was. I'm not a financial advisor, none of this financial advice, so I'd hesitate to give you any. Obviously, oh, there it is. There's the flash that we were looking for there, right there. 1424, is that what we're looking for? So that's maybe where your order is as well. 1424. Could we be going down to 1424? Could we be? Well, 1450 was another area that I was looking to as well, to be honest with you. So like I said, 1450, 1424, one of those two. One of those two. Interesting stuff. 1424 probably got a bit of the old sort of, you know, gravity to it. How's it going? Why did my friend that was talking about gravity not come back? Come back, pal. We don't need to fall out. It's just gravity. It's just science. Rocky is the greatest indicator known to man. Thanks so much, Merrick. I made it in perfect time, Sarah. Woo! Titty Babes, the greatest indicator ever, tied with FU monies. Aw, that's nice. That's very, very nice of you. I would dispute that a little bit in the sense that my indicator here is, that's really lovely of you, right? And I'm not going to disagree. Well, I am. This is perhaps the single greatest indicator that's ever been invented. Right. So anyway, oh yeah, you're great, Rocky, but I disagree on gravity. In fact, the effect of gravity in empty space is to repel, not attract. That's why once the universe expands everywhere at once, lol. Fundamental misunderstanding of things here. Love it though. Fantastic. Really great. Fantastic. Good to have people out there. Definitely. This is the progress of science, right? Science can only progress if you've got people who are out there talking like this about things. I totally, you know, we can talk about science. I'm not even a fucking scientist, man. There's a science thing in the Discord, though. If you want to chat about this, we could chat about it in there. Bodies in space are commonly known to not repel. It's commonly known to attract. This is kind of common. It's been seen. We've witnessed it with things like comets. Relax, Rocky. I was being nice. Okay. If I'm the gravity guy, I never left. I just wanted to let Rocky move on so we can all learn. Yeah, man, totally. Right. Anyway, B4 Joe M. Derry, man. You're probably smarter than I am anyway, so who am I to argue? Right, sound. Excellent. So I'm excited about AHT. Will we see a bounce here at 1450? I feel like we could, but this could obviously result in it being a lower high, moving down to our probable of ultimate target of 1423 before we then rocket towards the top side, having fulfilled the complete move off the back of this butterfly, I believe, that we drew on the charts at the time. Yes, I know, exactly, I agree. I'm sad that this thing here didn't work out to be a bull flag and for the prices to go up. I did say at the time that I would rather that the indicator that we talk about here just didn't work and that we could just, you know, make money now instead of me potentially being correct in my assertions on the market. But here we have it kind of determined to prove me right, which kind of sucks because I was happy to just make money and be wrong. But there you go. If you're going to be right and not make money, well, then you're going to be right and not make money. That's life. Okay, so we'll just live with it. Is the potential for this head and shoulders to still be on? Well, yeah. And the whole thing about this is that if we take out the C and A points of this thing, then that the A point, if we take out this area, then that starts to look like it's no longer the case, right? But we can actually get away with it. We can actually get away with it. We can actually get away with it. This is just a 15-minute time frame. Bring this up to something like the 1 hour time frame to smoosh it down a little bit so you can kind of see a bit clearer. In fact, I'll just take all the drawings away off so you can maybe see a bit clearer, and I'll take the Ichimoku cloud off again for a second so you can see a bit clearer. Yeah, this here is more or less fine until it's while it's above $14 for this idea of a head and shoulders. The idea is not ideal. It's not the ideal idea. But here's your shoulder here, here's your head, and here's your shoulder here. So that's basically the idea. This zone between the head and shoulders that's drawn on the top is our resistance zone, our sort of our fuel station. We can be in here, you know, rocket fueling away or whatever. That's our fuel station. Am I able to put in? Hold on a second. No, not text. I can do text. I knew that. Can I hit this button here and then go fuel? No. Fire? No, I'm trying to search in my emojis, mate. Can I put emojis into here? No. Trading View, you need to add emojis to your text thing, right? Not having them, big mistake. Just took that VLDR trade I talked about last week. Wish me luck hitting my knife-catching head with a hammer. Okay, let's just check out VLDR. I was going to take a look at crypto as well. We'll do that, right? Let's get back around to looking at crypto in a second. Okay, we've come in double bottomed over here. Did we talk about this in the show, man? I don't know if I took a look at this or not, but this is interesting. You probably talked about it inside the Discord or something like that as well. I'm pretty sure I've read these letters before. Interesting stuff here. Obviously, the volatility is super low. You know, you could get a second bite of this cherry. Be aware of that, pal, as well. Whenever it's, you know, be aware of this. Just be aware of this. Doesn't need to dictate your thinking too much. Just be aware that this is the situation that we're in. We could see this pushing down and back up again. If that happened, then you'd be taking out those lows over there, though. Exceedingly interesting to be doing that with so much bullish divergence. This is probably a pretty good trade over here. Probably. We can see the distinct bullish divergence on the doodah over there, the MACD, the RSI, the what you call it, DMI. However, this divergence, it does this other thing for us. Like, it happens all the time, right? See if you're looking at something that's not divergent, or no, that is divergent, right? This is stronger. Right, okay, this is the DMI, so it doesn't work the same way in terms of divergence than the other ones. This is stronger. And this is weaker. That's what this means. And there's three different components. You've got a line like that, a line like that, and a line like that, right? And this top line is, let's call this one blue. Right, let's call this one pink, and let's call this one yellow. And you'll see that there's three lines down below, one that's blue, one that's pink, and one that's yellow, and that's what they mean. And this is the ADX, and that changes colors. This is the DM negative. The negative, just call it full words, DM, let's do it like that. And this is the positive DM. Okay, and when these things are up here, then they're getting stronger, and if they move down here, they're getting weaker, right? So in an instance where you're looking at divergence, what is divergence? What is divergence? Well, divergence is when the charts are getting, let's say, stronger. When the price candles are, I don't even say candles, just say bars, are getting stronger. Meanwhile, concurrently, just to make sure you know, the oscillators are getting weaker. Weaker. Getting weaker. Right, so just to put this into context then, this is true. Oops, what happened there? This is true. So just to put this into context, over here, this is, tried to paste that on, didn't work. This is still true. So up here you've got stronger, and you've got weaker down here. I'm just explaining this in detail because I want 100% of people to understand this. I don't want to have to be explaining this from time to time. I want 100% of the people who are here now, all 123, 123 of yous. I want you all to understand this so I don't have to explain it all the time, right? And I can make this into a clip as well if I want to. Stronger and weaker. So the RSI, when it goes up here, it's getting stronger. And when it goes down here, it's getting weaker. So if the price action was to be going up here and getting stronger, while the RSI is going down here and getting weaker, then you would have divergence. That's what divergence would be. This here, in a sense, therefore, follows along with price action. So price action could look like this. And it would be, this would be matching between the two. However, that's purely because this has got one line, and the one line in it goes stronger and the one line goes weaker because it's one line to kind of combine them all. Whereas this has taken it and split it into a couple of different lines, and you've got positive and negative. So for the negative to get stronger, it has to go higher, and for the positive to get stronger, it has to go higher. Whereas over here, stronger and weaker is synonymous with positive and weak. So that equals positive. Right? And this equals negative. But over here on the DMI, that does not, how do you write doesn't again? Does not equal. Can't remember the sign for does not equal. Does not equal positive. It just means stronger, right? It doesn't mean positive. It just means stronger. Does not equal. Just means does not equal positive, right? It just means stronger. And down here, it does not equal negative. It just means weaker. That's all it means. It just means weaker. Just means weaker. So ADX, if the ADX line, so let's just go through this. If the pink line is moving up, does that mean it's positive or negative? And if the yellow line is moving down, does that mean it's positive or negative? Well, the direction in and of itself equals weaker and stronger. So if the pink line is moving up, then it's getting stronger. And if the pink line is moving down, it's getting weaker. And if the yellow line is moving up, it's getting stronger. If the yellow line is moving down, it's getting weaker. If the ADX is moving up, it's getting stronger. If the ADX is moving down, it's getting weaker. That's that. You're then if the line itself is positive, then movements up could be considered to be more positive, and movements down could be considered to be more negative. If the line itself is the negative line, then movements up could be considered to be more negative. Therefore, when you're looking at divergence on this indicator here, what are you looking for? Right? If price action is moving up, right? If price action is moving up, then what are you looking for? You're looking for the positive DM to be moving up, right? That's the easy one. Now, what happens if price action is in fact moving down? Then what are you looking for? Just for convergence. Price action is moving down. What is convergent? Right? What would you think it would be? Well, it makes sense, don't you think, that it would be the negative line would be getting stronger if the negativity in price is getting stronger. So if this is more negative and the negativity in the price is getting stronger, you would expect to see the negativity in the directional movement getting stronger. So what would be convergent? Well, convergent in this instance would be the negative DM going up. That's what that would be. Right? So with that being said, here is the DMI, and we can see that the DMI has come up as high as this, and so far has only come up as high as this. In between, actually, went as high as that. So this is higher than this and this. So this is a downward movement. That means that you could easily say that the negative DM is getting, what do we think? Weaker, right? That's what's happening. The negative DM is getting weaker. If that's happening to that while the prices themselves are going down, what would you expect? What are you expecting to see? Let's just recap real quick. What you're expecting to see as prices are going down is for the negative DM to be going up because prices are getting weaker. Therefore, the negative strength should be getting stronger. The negative strength, so it should be going up. But it's not. Okay? So here we have a case of bullish divergence. And what's showing us the bullish divergence is that the negative DM has not gone up higher. Now, where does this leave us? What does this mean for us? Well, it means if we actually push on lower, we've already got the low. If we actually push on lower, what we could see happening is this not being divergent. Now, for this to not be divergent, we'd need to see the negative DM come up as high as 52, 53, which is something which doesn't happen very often, right? It's something that doesn't happen very often. And when it does happen, it tends to be associated with movements down. Here's a movement down. There's a DM, big movement down. Here's a wee bit of movement. You can hardly see it there, though. Let's get some better example. Over here, big movement down, 50. Big movement down, 50. So if we were to see this go and attempt to not be divergent, even an attempt to not be divergent, we would anticipate bigger moves towards the downside. Okay, so at the minute, what do we need to wait for? What do we need to wait for? What do we need for? This is why it is crucial when considering divergence to identify a local low or a local high before deciding that it is there. Until then, it is emerging, right? Emerging and yet not yet present. Okay. So that's why it's crucial to wait for that. And that's where we are with this one right now. Okay, so what we're hoping for, therefore, is for this to turn around. Lovely to see the body back up here at the area of the prior low. Wick's gone lower. You know, this negative price action that's happened so far today, coming in, getting that order, hopefully setting you up for a fantastic trade. Very happy for you, Vic Vince. Patience pays. At the very least, you've got a discount of, let's just say, over the last week, you've got a discount of 13%. Let's say you waited for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. 3-week wait got you a discount of 20%. Not bad, not to be sniffed at. If this was your house and you bought your house for a couple $100,000 and you thought to yourself, I could buy this house in 3 or 4 weeks, and instead of costing $200,000, it's going to cost me $160,000, you'd bite your hand off. So you bite my hand off. So there you have it. From a TA sort of, let's just kind of look at this point of view, then obviously there's lots to be said here. You've got a wedge that's operating at a low. These wedges typically operate or statistically you're looking for the turnaround. Well, that's because really you're looking for this to happen at a point where there could be a turnaround. We've identified various regions where there could be one, and that's where we are right now with that one. Coming back round, we're at 3 o'clock. Let's just check in a sec. We're coming up to 3 o'clock. Let's just check in with the charts. Everybody out there, remember to hydrate. I'll need to get myself a drink of water soon. Should have remembered about my coffee. Forgot about that. And Brad Mama Jama, check AHT 50-minute flash. You're a legend. 1428. AHT. Yeah, man. 1426 right now. What did we speak about, people? What did we speak about? So it's quite clear that this is the foremost place on the internet to tune in for technical analysis. Let me just let this guy talk about this again himself for a second. My speaker went off. Damn it. You can listen to him again there for a second.
But I knew there were models to be made. Then I brought in another mathematician and a couple more, and a better computer guy.
This is what this billionaire's had to do.
Really
Can you hear him?
But you know, the general there's something called the efficient market theory, which says that there's nothing in the data, let's say price data, which will indicate anything about the future, because the price is sort of always right. The price is always right in some sense. But that's just not true. So there are anomalies in the data, even in the price history data. For one thing, commodities especially used to trend, not dramatically trend, but trend. So if you could get the trend right, you'd bet on the trend, and you'd make money more often than you wouldn't, whether it was going down or going up. That was an anomaly in the data, but gradually we found more and more and more and more anomalies. None of them is so overwhelming that you're going to clean up on a particular anomaly.
Ha! Beg to differ. Beg to differ, pal. Billionaire Mathematician, best indicator thing that's ever been invented, brought to you here on this channel. On this channel, here for free. Good to see you, Neon Rave. Nice to see that you're back. Louder, please. Sorry, end of clip anyway. Forget about it. I'm quietly playing Summer Mega Hits 2021 over Rocky, and it's fantastic. Haha. Cool, nice one. I am deaf, says Danko Bar. Sorry about that. Wish you weren't. Volume for turnips. We'd love it. We'd love it if volume for... Oh, it got a bit better. Oh, it did get a bit better. I forgot there's that buffer thing. Gosh, the buffer on this is so fucking long. Right, so there we have it. GME starting to run. Let's go check out GME then. I can see your comment. Starting to move up a bit. Wow, going up towards our next area. What do we call these lines over here? What do we call these lines? Support and resistance. Is that what we call them? Is that what we call them? Support and resistance. That seems like such a kind of a name that doesn't necessarily... I mean, I suppose it means something, right? I guess it does. I suppose that's what it means, but could there be a better name for these? How about instead we call them something like profit-taking lines? How about we call them that instead? What's better name? Are these things support and resistance, or are they profit-taking lines? What are these things? Anyway, only time will tell. Here we are at one of them. Support and resistance, both good names. Both good names. Profit-taking lines, good name for it too. It's a good name for it too. Profit-taking lines certainly has a good deal of, you know, semantic weight in there. It's got a lot of implications, that name. And support and resistance, maybe a little bit vague in terms of what it is. Maybe a little bit vague. Might be useful to think about them in terms of something else. Good to see you doing it though, up towards our next level. If we could actually get above this level, then we know we've got our targets in mind already. Such low volume, she's a powder keg. Just need to chuck a match in there. Is that right? I think so. You're totally right there. Very low volume so far today. So far, I mean, we still are at the start of the day, right? So this is a 4-hour candle. Very low volume in here. How is this going for everybody out there? Let me know. Let me know. I'm just actually going to ask a poll. I'm going to just ask a poll. Just want to know what people think. Do you feel like, you know, do you feel like you've learned something because of the all white candles and all white candles? Just want to know if this is working. Obviously, it takes a bit of effort to come up with these ideas, etc. I want to know if it's, you know, of value. It's good to see you, X. Nice to see you out there, X, my pal. Jim Simons started started an organization, Math for America. I won 60K grant over 4 years from this guy. I approve. Wow, fantastic. Yeah, philanthropist, great guy. Him and his wife, really impressive lady as well. Fantastic people, you know. Here's me just having a bit of tongue-in-cheek laugh, you know, when I say I beg to differ, etc. Right. So, by the way, still, you know, this here, it's a bit disappointing that oh, I forgot. I didn't actually put in the... I was pretty sure I had put that in. For me, few more AHT at 1424. Well, there you have it. 3:05 over here. 3:05 over here. I don't know what's up with the internet with this thing here. I thought I put in a stop loss. Was I just blind to it? Oh, I do have a stop loss in here. There it is. There it is. So anyway, you know, it's a bit disappointing to have given up half of our gains or etc. at that point. Would have been nice over the last couple of days had anybody said to take profit in or out of this zone. Didn't happen. Think about it next time whenever we're doing a trade together. It would be cool if we could, you know, really kick these trades heads in, knock them out the park, etc. Seems I've changed my screen layout here. Didn't really mean to. Excuse me. Just a second till I fix this up a bit. That'll do. So yes, it would be cool if that were to be the case for us. Right, EO. Okie doke. Where's my phone at? I know I was showing. Oh, there it is. Right, cool. Right, yeah. Leptin Inc. You beat me by 2 cents, you B. Supernova, I like to think of them as new stop loss levels if I'm looking to ride it further, but not with GME, of course. Of course, Supernova, of course, of course. So one way that you can look at this sort of thing is by using certain other indicators that are out there in the world. Plenty of them. Parabolic SAR, similar sort of thing. Now, there's this thing here called Williams fractals. And that's precisely how you could use that as well. What is a Williams fractal? Well, if you've got a candle, say you're going towards the top side, and you've got a candle like that, then 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 you've got a candle like that, right? You've seen this sort of thing before. It's got this sort of like look to it, where this candle in the middle is surrounded by candles either side that, you know, makes it look in a certain way. Well, that's essentially kind of what the fractal thing is. Like, so this one down here, and this one here, and this one here, and this one here, and this one here, they're all that. Now, it's based on sort of, you know, math. So this one down here, not math, but actual levels. This one's got a candle looks like that, a candle looks like that, the candle looks like way up there, and then the next candle, like, you know, it doesn't have that same sort of nice, easy to identify look to it, which is why it's handy to have the indicator do the hard work for you. And one way that you can do things is and the way that this guy made hundreds of millions of dollars was simply trend trading, simple trend trades, and just simply saying that once we've moved past a certain level, I'll put a stop loss at the previous fractal level, right? You know, that's at the previous Williams fractal level. It's not a fractal, you know, it's a fractal. Fractal, by the way, is a generic word. What fractal means is pattern, if you like. Hey, Rocky, could you take a look at LPTX? I am in at 1.8, looking to ride it to 2.8 for my first take profit level. All right, then let's take a look. Thanks so much, Supernova. What was it though? LPTX. Excellent stuff. Wow, fantastic to see that 86% of people have got value. 86% of people that answered that have got value from the recent white candles thing. By the way, my friend, if you were thinking about this from a Williams fractal point of view, you could move your stop up now to your latest level. Then if they were to get another Williams fractal, perhaps we see price action that operates something like this. You could, and then maybe we go up. And if we were to go up, then you can move it to your next fractal level. Is this the best way of managing trades? Well, not necessarily. I don't talk about it all the time. That's, you know, part of the reason for that is that's not necessarily the best way to do it, but had it on screen, had it open. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just telling you what this thing would say. Also, since you're already in a trade like that, let's just have another quick look and see, you know, what other things could maybe say to you. For example, the parabolic SAR. Now, the parabolic SAR on this time frame has got your stop loss all the way down there at 148. Woof. So that's a ways away. Thank you, Rocky. You're amazing. And these last few episodes have been university quality. We're all gaining wrinkles. Thank you so much, Wilfred Doomslayer. It really does. It really is reassuring. Really means an awful lot to me. Thanks. That means an awful lot to me. I really appreciate it. Ah, brilliant. See, no, not giving you financial advice, but you've now got yourself a guaranteed profit trade. Fantastic. And not just any profit. You've guaranteed yourself over 10% profit on that trade. That's really fantastic, Supernova. Yes, do it, Rocky. Bring up GME 1 minute. Oh, okay. GME 1 minute. We'll come back here if there's nothing happening right now. Oh, 20788, 208. We're right at that level. We'll come back to this one. Come back to this one in just a sec because we're doing this one just real quick. Now you're targeting 280. That's cool. What could get you up there? where would 280 be at? Just to put this into context ever so slightly. So this is just a 2 hour time frame. Doesn't really matter a massive deal what the time frame is that I'm looking to. As you can see, there's a high there. This is the high anyway. That's if I whapped this up to the 12-hour time frame, I'd be drawing in my what do you call this guy again here? Fibonacci tool from the top up there anyway, and I'd always be going down to this low. So this is kind of time frame agnostic in that sense. And then here's the 236. Here's the 382. Here's the 50%. Here is the 618 golden pocket. Taking out this wick here at 224, could easily see the prices dropping down to 197 to fill in that gap. Maybe along the way you might end up being stopped out. You could, of course, resume trading this positively if you think that ends up being the higher low. It would be lovely to see this gap be left on the charts in the same way, you know, as the previous gap was. That would be absolutely lovely and give you that boost towards the top side. That'd be cool to see. Obviously targeting the sort of 280 zone, coming in at a bit of a no man's land there between those two. Maybe on the linear chart, we have us in here having hit that golden pocket. You know, if you wanted to manage your risk, you could be managing it. You could manage it by looking at sort of the 220. I'm not going to be a financial advisor here and give you financial advice, but you could think about taking that extra 10% and just and then waiting to see how things handle it. But that has so many different impacts on you. You know, you're looking at maybe tax implications of different things. I don't know. I'm not going to advise. Like I say, you're looking at lots of different things, but you could be looking towards that region and saying, simply put, if we go down past the wick here, given that we're now past the opening range of the day, we've had the first 40 minutes of trading happen, that we be at that stage, you would be looking down at that $2, and you wouldn't want to sit there in that period eating that. If you know, in like little things like capital gains changing isn't a big deal for you. By the way, big shout out all Americans out there. That's right, a little bit of a joke there. All North Americans, no sorry, all people from the United States need to be aware that there's this capital gains is moving from 21 up to 26.5%. Now, just bear in mind that I think if you hold on to a stock trade for a certain amount of time, you get a 25% reduction in your capital gains. And of course, if it's 21 and you take off 25%, that moves it down to about 16%, and that's your saving. But now what we're going to see, if it goes from 21 to 26.5, is that it's actually gone up 25%. And what does that mean? Well, it means that if you were looking at this trading and thinking to yourself over the next wee while, I want to hold on to this for the next 18 months because by doing so, I will save on my capital gains. Bear in mind that actually, by the time you do sell, you'll be selling it at current value capital gains. What kind of implications would that have? What kind do you think that might have in the markets? And is that something that the implication of you realized immediately when old Uncle Joe announced this new rule? Did you realize that at the time? Or did you not realize that? It's an interesting one. I think, and now correct me, please do, if I'm wrong about that, because I'm not actually from United States of Canada, so I don't actually know if that's 100% correct on that one, but I think it's worth pointing out, right? So tell me, let each other know in the thingy. Supernova, 0% capital gains tax for me. Well, that's nice. Where are you at? Are you in Singapore? Is that what the SGD is? Rocky Outcrop, so I'm chilling with my day trading, but thanks for the info. I'll most likely change to 220 from 2. You made a lot of sense. It's your decision. It's your decision. It's your decision, right? I'm not a financial advisor. All success and all credit and everything else will always reside with you. Wolfric, you're amazing and encourage a positive culture of the same. Can't overstate the importance of it all and how much it helps. Absolutely can't. Absolutely can't. I totally 100% agree with that. Now, of course, maybe you are looking here, Supernova, and thinking like about how you just want to see how this plays out as we bounce between these two Fibonacci levels on the linear chart, which is what's kind of happening. Or you might be looking at it on the logarithmic chart and saying, well, can we maintain the 618 golden pocket where we are right now, right bang on it this exact second? So, it's all playing out live. Anyway, GME on the 1 minute chart, how are we doing? Damn, I missed it. I missed looking at the profit taking happening on the 1 minute chart here at the time on our level that we'd drawn out ages ago and all that. Now, this has obviously been a long running thing on the charts, and we've finally made it up towards this zone. And here you can see that it happened in the past and it happened again here. So the idea that there's nothing at all in any way which can help you make money from your trading by kind of understanding markets is obviously preposterous. I hope that was helpful to people. It's 3:15. Let me be very clear here. Yes, cool, Supernova, lovely. Thanks for the explanation. It's good to be thinking and talking like that. It's really interesting, isn't it? I think it's insightful for everybody else reading along. Awesome TA lesson this morning. Thank you, Rocky. Thank you so much. And please, everybody, let me know in the comments down below chapters that were interesting. Sal, fantastic job recently doing chapters, but of course those chapters boil down to just simply the headline, what the stock ticker was we were looking at the time, etc. And unless it's a really distinct lesson section, there's a lot that I put in here, a lot. You know, every episode is full of really high. Oh fuck, my timer's gone. I'm so sorry about that, everybody that's looking at the chapters thing. I'm so sorry about that. I don't know why my timer thing is bollocks. I can see up here that the timer thing is shrunk for some reason. I don't know why. It's so annoying. I'll just remove it and add it again. That's so annoying. So I will be tuning out at 1:30. By the way, everybody, I will be tuning out at 1:30. Let me just get this window capture doodad back on. Timer. No, it's add existing. Where is it? Timer. Okay, there's that. Again, thanks to everybody. But if you can add in any little tips, you know, if you're watching along with an episode and you think to yourself, wow, what Rocky said at this point here was really interesting, for your own your own reasons, where you might think it yourself, put a comment in the thing, say it, you know, let us know, talk in the Discord, and please go to the Rocky Clips channel in the Discord and let people know about it, and maybe it'll get made into a clip and help people and stuff like that. It'd be super good. As I say, I get to the end of shows so often, like I looked back at the show the other day and I was saying to people in the Discord afterwards, oh, I'm sorry, you know, I didn't think it was so good. People are giving me feedback, that's one of your best ones, it's one of your best shows. I don't know, I can't tell. I'm in the eye of the hurricane over here. I'm right in the eye of the hurricane. If you could let me know, I tell you, it would be great. I'm not massively big-headed over here going, oh, that was awesome at the end of every show. I don't know the good bits. All is quality info. You're the best, Rocky. Thank you so much, Kachito. Supernova, thanks so much, Rocky. I've gained so much confidence in taking trades because of you. I really am very grateful for your knowledge. That's so genuinely nice. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. L. Baker Matthews, thank you. Lovely to see you again, by the way. Awesome TA lesson this morning. Thank you, Rocky. Thank you. Thank you all. Right. So we've got 13 minutes left, and I think it's maybe it's time that I took a look over there at the cryptocurrency stuff, because it's been a wee while since I've looked at cryptocurrency on the channel. Nobody really comes along and asks for it, but I do know that there's lots of people out there that like it. Shout out to Drew's Tech and all the rest of it. So how about make this into a sort of clip as well? I'll just do it sort of easier style, make it easy on myself in a sense by doing it with Ichimoku Cloud. Let's just stick back on the moving averages real quick just to see what point I was making there. They've crossed, haven't they? They have, yeah. Interesting. Right, so that's kind of hard to see. Let me just get rid of some of this junk. What the feck is this deleting? I can't see what it's... What is it? Oh, there was so much info here. Oh my god. I'll just put it all back on again. I don't know what it is. I'll just stick it all back on for a second and go to different Bitcoin charts. It's not exactly much of a challenge for me. Here's a chart that's clear. Here's a chart that's clear. Famous last words. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's fall in love. Hi friends, Crypto Technical Analysis by me, your friend Rocky Outcrop. Very accurate. It's good to be here. Thanks for joining me. Hit the like button. Really do appreciate it. It's good to see you, by the way. Tell your friends. Tell your friends. Actually, who's going to want to watch that? You have to drag people in. Hold on a second. Stop recording. Start recording. Hi friends, everything about to explode in crypto land is unbelievable. Oh my god. I mean, honestly, the price targets in this video are going to make you tons of money. It's going to be amazing. Definitely watch the whole thing and share it with your friends. That's better, isn't it? Let's try that again one last time. Oh my god. Oh my god. We need to look at the crypto charts. Thanks for... You know what? It's all fun and games. It's all fun and games pretending that you've got it all sorted, but instead of pretending, how about I just sort this out so I can actually see what I'm looking at over here properly. Just a second, people. Sorry about this. Just trying to get my intro clip thing so I can see it. I've got so much crap in here. Intro clip there. Drag that down to the bottom. Right, that's better. That'll make this a little bit easier. Right, sorry. Oh my goodness, crypto about to do loads of amazing stuff. Let's check that out together. Well, actually, fuck it. I hate that. I hate that. I can't be arsed. I'm not going to do that. Hi friends, Rocky Outcrop here. Let's take a look at crypto charts together, do some TA. It's going to be awesome. Hit the like button. I really do appreciate it. Here's my intro clips. This is the perfect time to hit that like button. By the way, do you have any friends? A friend of yours is a friend of mine. Be sure to bring them to the show sometime so they can see what we do here. This is the Bitcoin chart that I have open behind me right now. A couple little interesting things. Peter Brandt, shout out to you, buddy. Big old curve on here. You like one of them. When we broke that curve, that was the end of that parabolic uptrend, of course. Now, this puts the current price action into context for us because, you know, until we've actually broken up a bit higher, we haven't taken out the highs. I haven't gone back to that macro trend. In fact, you know, all we've actually done is come up for a golden pocket retrace after the dump from 64k. So what is this? Well, so far, actually, frankly, friends, it looks like a downtrend. So we need to push past our highs at the golden pocket, and we need to actually come up here and challenge the 59 to 60,000 price point, or things just don't look that great, right? They don't. We have to admit it. We have to admit it. There's your high, there's your low, there's your lower high. So we need to actually stop this from being a lower high and actually go up and try and make it into something higher. Then we can be a lot more confident about things. But that's a broad perspective thing. Where are we right now? We're right at an area of potential support for us, and that's pretty good to see. Of course, what should we expect between two Fibonacci points? Let me just draw in an extra Fibonacci so you can see where the lows, where this all, how this all lines up. The 236, which would make this valid, is right below our feet. So what can we say about the current price action? Well, we can say that if the prices drop down $47,000 and lower, that there's actually a distinct chance that they'll go on to at least a couple of these different targets. 43, so that's 10% movement. 41, so that's another big old chunk, and then on down towards 37,000, perhaps, you know, 38,000. So look out for that. It's been said there are things that you would maybe want to know about it. Now, did we come up to this high with divergence? You'd be like, oh no, we didn't because of this recent stuff. 4-hour time frame gives you that impression. 24-hour time frame, what are we seeing instead? Very much did have that divergence. Just look around a wee bit. If we go down and we don't get rejected by the RSI on our first pass of it, then what we're doing is we're going down to 38k. You heard it here, you heard it, I said it twice, don't miss out on it. Now there's other things that we could look at, like let's take a look at Cardano, for example, which is you know, been a volatile and tradable asset recently. Now it's done a lot of similar type of things in terms of had a pullback, blah 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 blah, but this is done it from a point of view of having been in all-time highs. So just wanted to bring up this chart to show you, you know, that distinct difference. This was a high in May when Bitcoin was at 64k, 65. This is the high over here in September. It's higher than the previous one. You know, that's what you're looking for. What's it like in terms of divergences? It is better, you know, than the other chart. It's not got those. In this region here, did we have divergences? And you can see that we absolutely did, you know, at that high. We've pulled back since. What have we done in terms of a pullback? Well, it's going to be it's going to be somewhat insightful when I've dragged this in from the lows to the highs, and you can see we came down past the 236, came down to the 382 in terms of body closures, etc. Actually pushed down the way to the 50%, got a whole full 50% retrace on there with it since this recent high from the low to the high that we've just had. Well, that's good enough. It's done more than enough. Movement towards the top side, trending up the way would be good to see. As you can see here though, a little bit of consolidation, a high which is higher, a low which could be lower. What could this be? It could be diamond. It could be, you know, it's consolidation in this point here. Taking out these wicks is obviously quite bad. There's a bit of a triangular aspect on it. Let's talk about fake out territories being 230 towards the downside. Big movements up towards the top side possible, but really let's talk about needing to take out 260 for goodness. But anyway, this is where we're looking. If we want to move up the way, that would take us up towards our highs near that $3. Moving down the way, we come all the way back down to challenge in this 190 area, looking just between these, looking at just these wicks, etc. in the meantime, try and put some story together. How's Ethereum doing? I suppose we should look at it. Really get bored looking at Ethereum charts eventually, though, after a while. So and if you want me to take a good deep dive into this, come let me know. Talk to me about it. Most Ethereum traders are fairly undynamic. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's just, you know, there's a lot more interesting stuff out there. Let's take a look at some of that more interesting stuff. Harmony 1. Let's take a look at that. It's been a while since I've looked at it. I wonder how it's been performing. There's another couple ones I want to do. Oh, all-time highs. Nice. Was that right? 16 cents. Went as high as 23. Fuck yeah. Moved back down to 16 cents. Okay, cool. That's a 382. Probably. Let's just see if our eyeballs or pattern recognition on this one is correct. Yeah, that's the 382 in there. So it's a big mess on these charts. All this stuff done ages ago. It's been ages since I've looked at it. Let's just see. That's not been ages, actually. Typical fire alarm gathering points. Must have been last Friday that I looked at it. Not too bad. Not too bad. Well, F yes, in terms of the fantastic movement up the way and going all the way up towards that high. F yes. Did push up a little bit higher. Wonderful stuff. I'm just super pleased to see that. When did we do this? I must have been charting this I must have charted this after it was high. Okay, so this is exciting. Whatever. Come all the way back down to the golden pocket with this retrace so far. By the way, that one that I just moved over. Golden pocket retrace 382 on a bigger time frame. Fantastic. This is the perfect turnaround point for it if it wants to do so. Of course, managing your risk fairly easily by saying if it drops below 16 cents, you're not interested until it's found its equilibrium point. What else would be good to look at? Oh, theta. Well, actually, I want everybody else to tell me what to do with theta. Well, let's take a look at theta, right? Ooh, wedge, movement, target. Have we got the target yet? Not quite. We're still looking towards 730. Hope we stay there before going down the way. Flash at 630 might be worth looking at. 630? What do you mean flash at 630? I mean, I've invented the best indicator in the world ever. If you don't know about it yet, you should definitely check it out. And we could be going down to sort of 639, I think it was. Or was it 630, 629, something like that? Somebody was telling me about it in the Discord. What else was we wanted to look at? There's other targets out there. Oh, should we take a look at Shitecoin? Let's take a look at Shitecoin for a second. How is it getting on? Sorry, Litecoin, I pronounced that wrong. It's because I'm Scottish. Whoa, what's that? What exchange is this? Binance? Really? Let's have a look over here just to see. Oh dear, this happened elsewhere. Let's just keep looking. Hold on a second. Let's go over to that new exchange. Bing Bong. Bing Bong, let's go look at Bing Bong. It happened here as well. My God. Well, it happened. 237. Wicking all the way up there in the space of 4 hours. Let's just take a look at this real quick. 1 hour time frame. It was a tradable event, as you can see here. What's it like on the 15 minutes? All in the 15 minutes, but it lasted long enough. 5 minute time frame then. Interesting stuff. Look at that. 5 minute candle, then 5 minutes later, and 5 minutes later, 5 minutes later, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. How could you have handled this situation as you've been looking at it at the time? So many ways, right? But one of the obvious ways is look, 236, move down past it. You know, how hard is that? You know, we didn't find a bounce at 382. Could have at 618. We got a bounce. Where did it take us to? The bounce took us back up to the 50% before dropping on down the way again. You know, as in the bounce took us to the 236, but didn't confirm it, so we didn't get a valid move. This is the harmonic. This is the real harmonic of Fibonacci, like the real harmonic. You know, everything beyond this is just an extrapolation from this point. Scott Carney doesn't really realize it himself. He will at some point. Harmonic Volume 5 or something. So anyway, that's the real one, and that happened there, and it continued on down the way. Not a big surprise. Look, basically, if you want better analysis than this, you should come in and tune in and ask me to do it during the show live, or get involved in the Discord and ask me there, or whatever, right? What is this? Well, this is, actually within this, there's tons of good content that'll really, really be helpful for people, but, you know, screw it. Great. Love yous. Do subscribe. Do join the Discord. Do become the best trader that you can possibly be, and can keep on enjoying all the clickbait you watch currently. Not going to tell you not to. Right, that's that. Cool. So, whoops. Here we are, last couple of minutes of the show. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Danko Bar, I rode that dump down on the Litecoin, made so much profit in 5 minutes. Yes, buddy. Yes. Look at that. Yes, man. Excellent. Excellent stuff. Well, that's what we're doing here. Group of amazing traders, right? Community. I read the stuff you say. I care about you. I care about you. You know, use listen when I speak. Use care about yourselves. That's all it takes. That's all I'm asking for. Start to care about yourself. Give yourself that compassion. This was mental. Cheers, Rocky. You're welcome, Kieran. Piga, I rebought Harmony at 23. Oops. Whoops. Oopsie toopsie. These things happen. Brady Pearl, I'm here for the TA and the message. Brady Pearl, you're a great guy. It's good seeing you last night again. Chris Sweeney, I'm going to get back into it. Rob Davis Redneck Pisano says LTC was the victim of some fake news fudge shill crap. Whoa, that happens. That happens. A lot of people then getting in there and riding that. The likes of Dankobar, obviously, enjoying that experience. Have a good one, Brady, says Trade Spawn, so that's pretty cool. So Shikar Bajracharya, no, Shikar Bajracharya, I'm getting better at it. Chris Sweeney, I didn't get into Harmony and I regret it. Whoa, you should have listened to Trade Spawn when he was telling you to get into it when it was below a penny. Pardon me, that might be a good idea. So that's cool. Quality, Brady. Have a good day writing your songs. Hope you feel inspired. Jiu-Jitsu guy chatting earlier on says the only thing AMC community wants to hear is how much they're ripping. That's true. Let's check on AMC. I'm not going to bring up on screen for you guys because that part of the show is over. But for me personally, I get to see what it looks like. Let me just check in here and see. And what is it doing? Well, it's doing more or less what we anticipated. By the way, it's the volatility has carried it back up to refill in that gap that was left up above, so that's done now if you're looking for that to happen. And of course, we're bearishly, if we were to push up here and close any higher between 40, if we were to close between 47 and 48 in the next wee while, and then pull back at all from that point back down to say where we are right now, then you'd have bearish divergence, something to watch out for at that point. You know, we've not quite got it yet by virtue of the fact that we haven't taken out those previous highs, but what difference does that make? I'm not doing TA anymore. Good. So yeah, Nelly Corin, perfect. Thank you. Dan Ernst, Tradespawn, some can't handle and or want to hear the truth. Each day, if they were watching you, they would have known. That's right. Tradespawn's pretty good at TA. I really do, really do appreciate him. Jan Bullrick. Hey Rocky, what do you think of RKLB? There's a big target towards the downside on that bad boy, gotta tell you. If you're looking for that, you might enjoy, you know, taking advantage of these things as we talk about them on the show. So just know that, but we're out of time here, so if you want to find out more, then ask somebody that's in the community. There's people talking about that in Discord, trading it proactively right now, having shorted it from $20, etc. Anyway, you chat to them about it, buddy. They're all there, and the best way to do that, because I realize that you're brand new here, is to hit that like button, that subscribe, and just start getting involved in this community. It is seriously probably going to be the best decision you make in your life. Katie Babes says, haha, yes, Cyril Steino dropped in hearts earlier on. Shikar gave me a $6.90, $6.90. Thanks so much. I'm learning so much this week alone. Thank you. You're welcome. It's been pretty intense, hasn't it? So just working my way back up through the chat. You got Banana Fridge, Eddie Rock, Piga, Jiu-Jitsu Guy, Jeff Smith. Good to see you, Snuckers. Trade Spotting, Supernova, Neon Rave. You've got Katie Babes, you've got Trades, the Jiu-Jitsu Guy, Bad Mama Jama, L. Baker Matthews, Kieran Norman, you've got Shikar, like I said, Smug Slug, good to see you, pal, Cachito Valador, Sal E. Mander, for example, Butterfly showing up on the 1 minute with that harmonics indicator. Interesting stuff. You'd have to have an indicator to draw them in on the 1 minute, more or less, you know, the amount of time that it takes sometimes to kind of figure these things out. Neon Rave will give you a shout out earlier on. Captain Sink a lot, hey, hit that subscribe button, buddy. X, good to see you again here as well today. And Amber, lovely to see you, Amber. And anybody I might have missed out, Christie, for example. Oh, I B for Joe Derry. He's a crazy scientist, doesn't believe in gravity. It's cool. That's why science is beautiful. I'm kind of stealing an Einstein quote there. Wait a minute, what did you say? That is a theory too. All I really know is the questions stay the same, but the answers always change. Nice one. That's pretty cool. It is a nice quote, that one. So we've made it to the end of the show. I'm going to bring up my donations list and all that. Give everybody credit where it's due. Paola, you just donated 15 minutes ago. We appreciate you, Rocky. Thank you so much, Paola. It's really awesome. Paola, by the way, is somebody who is a patron, you know, a top tier patron, somebody that supports me in a way that has a meaningful impact in my life. Not to say that everybody else doesn't, but, you know, directly hands-on themselves. It's really appreciated. So if anybody else wants to do that, then there's the link to it. I really do appreciate it, you know, really, really do. Don't actually make tons of money on YouTube, although it does look like I make loads. Good to see you, Awi. Nice to see you, Harry, out there. Give me a call, won't you? That's a wee shout out to Tommy Riley, by the way, if anyone's looking for our music. Nice little tune. Give me a call by Tommy Riley. Check it out on YouTube. Something to cover, Brady Pearl. You might like that song if you're looking for a cover as well. It's not a, you know, it's interesting. It's quite nice little tune, but the guy's got a really sort of weird Glasgow accent, but it might be one that you might like covering. I don't know. Take a look at it. Rocky Outcrop, did you hear about that online strip clubs being created on RBLX? No, that's awesome. I hope the kids get into that. Really good. Can you imagine how successful and happy your life would be if you'd found out that there was online strip clubs whenever you were 12 and that you could start doing that as a kid yourself? Brilliant. Roblox, really forward thinking. Hats off to you, sir. Hats off to all of you. Let me just go back down through this list. Paola, thank you so much. Oh, Brian Mullen donated $5 through Super Chat. Love you all. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Thank you so much. Yes, and thank you to Shakar for your $6.90. Massively appreciated. Thank you to Kachito for the $4.99. Thank you to Supernova for the SGD5. Really do appreciate the sentiment that went along with that message, of course. L. Baker Matthews for $4.99 as well. Really do appreciate that. Chris Sweeney, thank you so much. You donated 5 through Super Chat and I missed it. Hey, Rocky, can you explain how to use Bitcoin dominance and Bitcoin futures as an early indicator for either price drop or increases? That was 26 minutes ago. You'd be wanting to look to the Bitcoin futures chart because you can tell if it is in Contango or if it is backwardized. Look up those words. You can take the homework here and learn about it. Learn about Contango and backwardation in futures markets. Good first point there. Look to the gaps that can appear. It's a chart that's not traded 24/7, whereas Bitcoin itself is on the regular crypto exchanges. Look to those. Understand that while the Bitcoin dominance chart in and of itself isn't really a tradable thing, it can absolutely be charted. Understand the current trend on Bitcoin. We saw that it was trending up towards that 618 golden pocket. We were targeting 52 grand from 32 grand. We talked about this all along the way, and that happened. So we were talking about how this could happen, but the Bitcoin dominance could drop. Therefore, you might think about looking for some altcoin outliers that might really run. Where would you find them? Simple adage always hold true, that the strong get stronger and the weak get weaker. Look for the strong performers to get that move. If you are indeed looking at a contraction in the altcoin basis, understand the trend. Are you actually looking at a contraction in the Bitcoin prices too? Understanding the dynamic that exists between all of them is the way to do it. To say that there's a sort of little kind of do this, do that, do this, do that, pragmatic kind of approach to understanding it would be oversimplifying the dynamic that exists between them. This is a dynamic thing, and it's all about understanding really, you know, the dynamics of flow, essentially, when you're looking at it. Wilfred Doomslayer, really massively support the channel, and I really do appreciate it, massively do. It makes a big difference to my life, you know, it genuinely does, and that's appreciated. These things are always very kind, and if people want to donate to the channel, it's really, really awesome. That $99.99 of course is really more like $69.99 that gets given to me because YouTube takes $30 of it. Not everybody realizes that, but it's a 30% fee to YouTube. So that $99.99 is $69.99 to me. Really appreciated though. As well, Supernova again, by the way, and Vic Vince earlier on as well. Thanks so much for the sexy 50, Vic. Sarah Rastino, thank you so much for that. Amber, thank you so much for that earlier on with the no sound. Wolfie, again, thanks for the no sound. Sarah Rastino, again, thank you for the no sound check. Katie, Thank you for the no sound check as well, Caitlin. It's lovely that you would do that for me. Natural Friend, thank you. Welcome to Fake News, Enemy of the People. Janine W, thank you so much for being so kind. And thank you to Katie Babes as well for that mic check earlier on as well. Dan Lesage, that's it. Work the camera. You want to make a little extra? Nice one. Thanks so much. Yeah, shaking that ass. Guitar Outside donated $4.99. Silent TA, that's what was happening. Katie again with another mic check donation. Very kind of you. Lepton, no sound, buddy. Thank you so much for that as well. Homer Simpson donated $11 through Patreon. Thanks so much. 11 hours ago becoming, or 18 hours ago getting involved in the membership. By the way, people, I do try to make it so that you can get in there automatically. I will be getting in touch with you all and signing out invite links later on today to people who have not currently got it. I will sort the ones out that are joined today. I sort them out every day, so thank you so much. Yep, the dynamics of flow, that's it. Laughing there. Yeah, you know, the dynamics of flow. Feisty Goats, thank you so much as well, and that was yesterday for your donation, so we've made it all the way back. Thank you. And Jeff Smith to Financial Freedom and our hero Rocky. Jeff, I hope your dad's doing well. Hope you're doing well, mate. Really appreciate y'all. Really appreciate every single last one of you. I would happily spend the rest of the day here chatting about how much I appreciate you, but instead I'm going to get on and let you get on with your life. Thank you so much. I'll see you again tomorrow. Friday, finish off the week. Try and make things as hard as we can tomorrow in terms of understanding things. So stick with it, beginners. Stick with it. But also, if I can, we've been making it more and more throughout the week, and then also, you know, just try and enjoy things a bit. Might play some music tomorrow, relax a little bit, and maybe even have a guest. If you want to do that, then that's great. If you're around Moonkey, let me know, Maria. We can chat. If not, then maybe I'll get somebody else on or whatever. If that's tomorrow or whatever, don't know. Chat out in Discord. I don't know how it'll go. I'm just saying these things because I want it to be a nice show tomorrow. See you then. And hit the damn like button and share it with your friends. And don't forget to put a comment in. Comments help. Please grow this channel. All I do is provide great quality content, be authentic, be genuine, try and be myself. It's very hard to grow a channel in a world where everybody around you is competing on a basis of clickbait, lies, and being inauthentic. So, you know, if we could try and grow this here, then what it's going to do is really benefit other people's lives. It doesn't really benefit me a massive amount, you know, for every individual that comes along. But if you can think about every individual as having a real, genuine life and deserving to have that impact that it's having on your one too, then think about it. It impacts theirs massively. So help them, help it.